Everybody, it's your boy JP, Joe Park. We are back in the motherfucking building, man. And I know I ain't talking about the NBA in a solid minute. I ain't gonna lie, the last time I made a video about the NBA, it was still the semifinals, the Mavericks. Pretty sure the Thunder had just won Game 5 against the Mavericks. It's been a minute. I didn't even talk about anything about any of the conference finals because that shit came and went so fast that there was no time for me. I missed a week because, you know what I'm saying, I had some personal stuff to handle. But came back, tried to do it the next week, and the series is already over. So I said, I'm just going to wait until the finals. At this point here we are. So we are here. Mavericks, Celtics, the NBA Finals is set. And I ain't going to lie to you, man. I don't know who I got winning right now. So let's go ahead and let's roll the intro, and we'll talk about it and we'll figure it out.
Probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead. And gets the ball, puts up a three-pointer. Bang! Steph Curry! Bryant on the move with the jump.
Alrighty, man. NBA Finals time is always a fun time for everybody. I ain't gonna lie, the W been so popping, bro, that I haven't even really been missing the NBA during the little like 9 day break that it's been ever since the end of the conference finals in the West out there. But let's go ahead, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it from the Celtics perspective first. So the Celtics make it to the NBA Finals for the second time in 3 years after sweeping the Indiana Pacers, in a 4-game series. Tyrese Halliburton does not play, I believe, the last 2 games of the series, and even though he's not there, and really you don't ever feel like Indiana has an actual chance to win to win the series, really didn't really even have a game. They did put forward good effort. They fought. They made it, very, very interesting in some of the games. Like game 1, they could have almost stole, but Jaylen Brown hits the game-tying shot. Game 3, I believe, and in game 4, they have leads going into the second half, but the Celtics are just too much for the the Tyrese Halliburton list, and no Benedict Mathurin. He got hurt before the playoffs and everything, but it's just valiant effort for the Pacers, but just too much for the Celtics. And it's kind of odd for the Celtics to be a team that just swept their way to the NBA Finals, only lost 2 games the entire Eastern Conference playoffs. They did receive a heavy amount of, I guess, criticism, or like people kind of just don't really believe that they are the team that they have been, proving to be over the course of the entire season. Because I've said in previous videos, if you look at the numbers, if basketball was a game that was played strictly on paper, the Celtics would be champions, 9 seasons out of 10, based off this particular season. The team, they were first in 3-point percentage, I believe. They were first in offense. I believe they were one of the top 3 in defense. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but they were like a historical dominant team, historically efficient team. They did a great job at defending the 3-point line. Just they have an amazing five-man unit with Drew and Derek White and Kristaps and all that, and they have the Tatum and Brown, of course. They're just an overall supremely talented team, and they showed it over the course of the entire year. And people still were kind of just like, nah, I don't know, man. Like the path was kind of too easy. They faced against no Jimmy Butler in the first round. That goes 5 games, and then they play against, who did they face in the second round? The Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell, and I believe was Jared Allen or Evan Mobley. No, Jared Allen doesn't play. Donovan Mitchell gets hurt. That series also goes 5 games, and then they sweep the Pacers. So there was no real opportunity for the Celtics to face any real adversity. But at the end of the day, you got to give them credit for doing what they were supposed to do. They did. While some of the games were closer than maybe some of us may have anticipated them to be, the Celtics did win. A majority of the games. They are 12-2 on the playoffs right now. Like, I think that if you could ask the team how they would want to be performing and how they would want to be going into these finals, I would say they'd be very stagnant with the position. Like, we only lost 2 games the entire run. We really won pretty much every close game that we encountered over the course of the playoffs. Like, the 2 games we lost, where one was because the Miami Heat shot a historical, crazy percentage from 3 in a game. And the second thing, I believe the exact same situation that happened in Cleveland in game 2. But we've taken care of business. All our best guys are playing their best basketball at the best time. We're getting healthy. KP's supposed to be back for game 1. Like, if I'm a Celtics fan, if I'm a Celtics player, player, I am completely confident, feeling very, very good going into this series. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can talk about the lack of adversity and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, you really don't want that much adversity going into the finals. You don't want to be a team that, you had to have a dogfight 7-game series in the first round, and then, or, a dogfight 7-game series in the second round, and then all that. At the end of the day, these are humans we're talking about. This is not a video game. People are going to get tired. People are going to get, worn down over the course of a playoff series and over the course of a playoff run, and all that ultimately adds up toward the end of it. So the Celtics are in prime position right now. Game 1 will be, of course, in their building. And like I said, you got to feel good if you are Celtics. I'm not going to talk about the matchups for the finals just yet because I want to talk about the Dallas Mavericks now. So the Dallas Mavericks, man, they make it to the NBA Finals after a very dominant Western Conference Finals performance against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Listen, it was very interesting to me how that series went down, just because of the fact that going into it, I thought we were going to be in for at least a 6-game fight, probably a 7-game series. Like, you felt like the teams were so evenly matched, but just when it came down to clutch time, when it came down to just like the guy that having plays at the end of games, at the end of quarters, time and time again, the Mavericks just got it done. You know what I'm saying? And that was a very similar formula that they had in the series before against OKC, where OKC, you know what I'm saying, where the Mavericks didn't play their absolute best in the series against OKC. I believe Kyrie, he didn't even average 20 points per game on the series. Luka was kind of fluctuating between having like his regular blowout, typical performances, and then, kind of just like not really being who he was. He was dealing with the ankle and the knee or whatever lower body injury he was going through at the time. And they just struggled, you know what I'm saying? But when it came down the stretch, they had either Luka or Kyrie, or they had, one of the other guys, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, Derek Jones Jr. Somebody was able to make a play that ultimately swung the pendulum in their direction for them to win that game. And like I said, in the Western Conference Finals, it was more of the same. Like, you can very well see a world where the Timberwolves could have been either up 2-1 or it could have just been a 1-2 series after the 3 games. But due to just clutchness down the stretch from Luka and Kyrie, we end up in a 3-0 hole, and then pretty much from that point on, you're like, the series is over. Like, Minnesota might win a game, Minnesota might win 2 games, but the chance of Minnesota coming back and winning 4 games in a row against this Dallas team at this particular time, it's just not going to happen. And you got to give a whole bunch of credit to the Dallas Mavericks, to Jason Kidd and his staff, to the GM, and because they actually have done a very, very, I've said it in multiple videos before, they did an amazing job of putting this team together during the trade deadline. Bringing in Gafford, bringing in PJ Washington. Last offseason they draft Derek Lively with the pick that they kept from tanking and missing the playoffs last year. Like, when it comes to how you would want to build your team after a disappointing ending to a season like last year, this is how you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So big credit to the Dallas Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? Luka in this playoff run, it's very interesting because for this playoff run, or really in any playoff run, in any season, you really expect Luka Doncic to be one of the best players on the team, but I don't know really many people who are honestly calling for Luka Doncic to be the best, but to have a team that would be good enough to win the Western Conference or win a championship. You never really had any doubts in Luka's individual talents, but you were just like, would they be able to put together a unit? And they've done really just that. They put together, one of the most skilled players of all time, and going through a great transformative and just like metamorphosis era for his career, and Kyrie Irving, like what he's doing for this Mavericks team, the veteran leadership he's bringing in, the maturity he's giving him, it's just like, wow, it's a complete real 180 from what was going on in Brooklyn. And, so you're just happy that he's like kind of figuring himself out, and at whatever point of life that he's in right now, he's able to, he's able to grow and, spread this positivity, and it's a real benefit for this Dallas Mavericks team. Derek Jones Jr. brought him in. He's in on a minimum. He's not even getting paid like a crazy contract, but he's making a name for himself. Everybody knows him as the dunker, but he's been knocking down corner threes like a madman this year. He's a great defensive player also, just with that length, and he's a perfect player to play alongside Luka. Like, I would say that like him, what Derek Jones Jr. is to Luka is kind of what Gerald Green was to James Harden. You know what I'm saying? If you know the dynamic between James Harden and Gerald Green, like he was a lob threat. You know what I'm saying? He was a guy who would do the backdoor cuts off the backdoor cuts off the going baseline and catch his lobs. Like he was very, very vital to what James Harden and in this case Luka liked to do. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. PJ Washington, man. Shout out to PJ Washington, man. This nigga's out here trying to win Baby Daddy of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows the situation, with his Instagram model girlfriend or whatever. And hey, man, he's working himself into a big contract. He finally got himself out the slums of Charlotte, and he made it a full opportunity out of it. You know what I'm saying? And he's proved that he's actually like a very, very solid NBA player. You know what I'm saying? Not a superstar, not a star in any right, but he's a guy who can knock down open shots. He's big enough where he can rebound. He's a big, tall frame where he can also defend. Yeah, man, just super big credit to my man PJ. Same thing for Gafford coming from a losing situation and just proving that he's just like he can play winning basketball. I've only ever seen Daniel Gafford in losing situations. So to see him out here playing for this Mavericks team and being a contributor to positive basketball, good for him, man. Proud of him. But let's go ahead and let's just talk about the matchup now. So Mavericks Celtics. So on paper, you're gonna say, of course, the Celtics have the advantage. You know what I'm saying? Just with their overall 5-man lineup, like I was saying before. But like when it comes to after that, that's kind of like what really raises the question for me, because the big problem for the Celtics all season has been that they really don't have any real bench depth. You know what I'm saying? They have Sam Hauser, they have Peyton Pritchard. You know what I'm saying? They have guys that can play. They have guys that are serviceable. But when you're playing against another team that is more deep than them, and a team that, while they do have a disadvantage in the starting five, like, so I would say Boston does have a better starting five than Dallas. Dallas' starting five is no slouch, and Dallas also has arguably the best player in the series. I don't think it's really that arguable. I think it's pretty obvious that Luka is the best player in the series. So while the matchup may not be in Dallas' favor necessarily when the 5-man matchup, when you have the best player on the floor, we saw it in 2022, having the best player on the floor sometimes is all you really need. Sometimes all you need is a Steph Curry explosion to win you a game, and then that just changes the entire fate for the entire series. So Boston's bench is definitely going to be something that people are going to be, especially me, I'm going to be keeping an eye on, because if they're not able to get production, and if Dallas is able to get that great production from, PJ Washington and Derek Lively off the bench, then we're going to be looking at this series saying, hey, this series may not be as much of a mismatch as it may be. All right, so then let's also talk about the bigs now. Let's talk about Lively and Gafford versus KP and Al Horford. So Kristaps Porzingis has not played, I believe, since April 29th. You know what I'm saying? That's the last time he played. I believe it was games 2 against Miami. So he's had time to rehab, and reports are saying that he's scrimmaged and that he's, I guess, looking healthier, and he's going to be able to give it a go. And that can go one of two ways. He can be just this impactful player that he was when he first got there. He can be able to stretch the floor and able to provide some much needed rim protection, because everybody knows how much those Mavericks like to love to throw those alley oops. Like, that's going to be something that Kristaps Porzingis is going to play a big role in. But if he's not really like able to perform to the level that we're really used to, or really where he's been able to perform for this season, we could be looking at a potential issue for the Boston Celtics. But at the same exact time, if he is healthy, if he is that 3-point floor spacer and can just dominate dominate his spots on the floor, then we could be looking at a real issue on the opposite side for the Mavericks. So really, whatever Kristaps Porzingis we get in this series is really going to play a big role, especially in this front court matchup. Al Horford's always going to be like a model of consistency. He's going to do whatever it is that he does at his high level. You know what I'm saying? He's going to knock down shots. He's going to play solid defense. I think that as long as you don't have like kind of like a situation that happened in 2022 where Al Horford was great in game 1 and then he kind of just has this big drop off in game 2, or for the rest of the series, like, as long as that doesn't happen, I think that you get a solid performance from Al. You get Kristaps playing how he has played the entire season. You should be good. But that let me not say that to disrespect Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, because they play perfect complementary basketball for each other. Perfect complementary basketball for Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. They're perfect. They clean up everything around the rim, whether it be a putback dunk, whether it be an alley-oop dunk. They're very active on the offensive end. They're able to create second possessions, and not for nothing, Boston's bigs are not the most physical, and Al Horford's kind of an old man. You know what I'm saying? So if Kristaps is able, if Lively and Gafford are able to, and PJ Washington also, if they're able to, make things real physical, make things real mucky down there, then, you know what I'm saying, that could potentially swing a game in your favor one way or another. All right? Let's talk about the guards now, man. Let's talk about, so the first thing we're going to talk about here, we're going to talk about, can Drew and Derek White make Kyrie struggle? So the last time that we saw Kyrie play against the Boston Celtics in the playoffs, he had arguably one of his worst playoff series I guess efficiency wise, like I think ever in his career. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was one of his worst efficiency series ever of his career. And you just saw that the height of the height of the Celtics really did bother him. You know what I'm saying? This is a time where they had Robert Williams in the paint. They also had Al Horford was a little bit younger. They had Tatum. They had Brown. I believe Derek White was on that team still. Like they still had, you know what I'm saying, a lot of bodies, a lot of options they can throw at them. They can throw at Kyrie Irving. And now you're going to be adding in arguably one of the best perimeter defenders in all of the NBA in Drew Holiday. You know what I'm saying? So if the name of the game is you can make Kyrie struggle, and you can definitely put a lot of more pressure on Luka to make him have to, have these heroic performances that, you know what I'm saying, that if he'll necessarily need to win a game. But at the same time, the Dallas Mavericks have shown that they don't necessarily have to have a crazy Kyrie Irving, you know what I'm saying, for full 4 quarters in order to win. They can win multiple games with Kyrie Irving picking and choosing the spots. There was times, I believe, in both the Clippers series and the OKC series where he would have 4.6 point first halves, but then he would end the game with 22 points. So, you know what I'm saying, if Kyrie still is able to, pick and choose the spots a little bit, you know what I'm saying, officially, even with Drew's great defense, even if Drew's able to keep him to, you know what I'm saying, not a great shooting game, you know what I'm saying, or not a very efficient game. As long as Kyrie's able to get his spots, then, you know what I'm saying, that can definitely bode well for the Dallas Mavericks. And for the other, you guys still got to talk about Luka. Who's going to be guarding Luka? I don't think you can put Drew Holiday or Derek White on Luka. I think he's just too big for that. I believe Luka's 6'8", 6'9". You know what I'm saying? He's a fucking doughboy. He's a big dude. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to put somebody skinny like Drew and Derek White on. They don't got enough. They don't got enough in the back pocket. But you know what I'm saying? At the same time, you don't want to. I'm not sure if the Celtics are going to want to put Tatum or Brown on him, because if it comes down to they have to guard Luka, and Luka ends up draining them because Luka plays a very physical style. He's not the fastest, but it's just a lot of left and right, a lot of sliding. If that wears them down on the offensive end, then like I say, we're already not talking about a crazy deep Celtics team. So if we're getting games where Brown or Tatum are giving you, you know what I'm saying, 16, 18, 14, and they're not able to give you their normal averages, you could be looking at some real interesting scenarios for the Boston Celtics. So there's a lot of questions here when it comes to building up what can happen for this NBA Finals, and I ain't gonna lie, it's made it very hard on me to guess to make a prediction. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the Celtics, they have the advantage so much in the starting five that, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to that's who's going to be playing the most. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to these moments, you're going to be playing your best guys. So I'm not really too worried about Sam Hauser minutes or Peyton Pritchard minutes, you know what I'm saying, being the downfall for this team, even though at some point you got to factor they do have to play at some point. So, and then for the other side, for the Dallas Mavericks, man, this could be this has just had the feeling and the vibes of just like the Luka Doncic, coming out party. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really expected Luka to be, you know what I'm saying, in the NBA Finals this year. Nobody really expected him to be, kind of the last man standing out of that crazy Western Conference. Jeez, excuse me. But for him to be the last man standing out of that Western Conference, and just the moments that he's had, hitting the game winner over Rudy Gobert, you know what I'm saying, the multiple games in the OKC series where he wasn't playing great, but you got crazy PJ Washington moments, and you know what I'm saying, it just felt like this team kind of just like was kind of destined to make something happen this year. I just can't kind of shake that feeling. So if I am going to choose who I have winning the NBA Finals this season, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to go Dallas in 6, man. I'm going to go Dallas in 6. I'm going to believe in the fact that Luka is the best player in the series. I believe that just like this, the Kyrie Irving that we're dealing with now, he's a lot less of a hothead. You know what I'm saying? The issues what he was dealing with the last time he played against Dallas, he's over here. Last time he played against Boston, he's over here giving people the finger, interacting with the fans. I don't think we'll see too much of that in this series. And I don't know, man. I guess for the Celtics, man, I just got to see it before I believe it. But like I said, I would not be surprised if the Celtics came out here and did win a championship. But my vote is going to be Dallas Mavericks in 6, with Luka Doncic bringing home his first NBA championship and Finals MVP. But that's all I got for it, man. Make sure you guys leave a comment in the comment section. Leave a like, subscribe. Let me know who you guys think is gonna win the championship. Let me know who you guys think is gonna win the championship and how many games. All right, so leave a like, share, subscribe. Leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace and love, family. Deuces.